Hi everyone and welcome to my place. I've already done 3 designs for Easter this year, but I was out shopping and I found these beautiful blue eggs, and the colour is what attracted me to them. And then when I read that they were caramel coated eggs, that got me even more excited. And I thought, what could I do for Easter with this blue, because it's so beautiful. And the other thing that I saw when I was out is this beautiful flower here. Now this is called Gentian or Gentian. I absolutely love it, and I like the combination of the purpley blue with the eggs, which then had me go on to, now what will I do with it? So having found the eggs, I then decided I needed a bird's nest, and unfortunately I couldn't find a bird's nest. And because my thought was I would put the eggs into the bird's nest, I thought because there is a virus at the moment, I shouldn't really be using a bird's nest. I should make my own. So I've actually made this out of, it's just sort of like twiny stuff. It's artificial twiny stuff, which I sort of gave a good clean, and I've just formed that into a bird's nest. So that's what I'm going to use. Then I decided that because I'm having dinner at my place, let's do something a little posh. So ages and ages ago, I showed you this lovely, my Grecian-inspired urn. I thought that would be perfect. Then it was, how can I get all of these components onto here? So this is what I've come up with. Now this is an Oasis, green Oasis foam, which comes with its own little wee tray here, which I'm going to use to put on the top there. Now I've already started because I didn't want to waste your time, because that's very easy to know that I'm going to shove everything into it. So these are the components that I found. Okay, so I've got some rosemary, which is freely growing in my garden. I've also got little bits of bay, which is just growing anywhere. You could use camellias if that's all you had. If you didn't have any rosemary, you could use sprigs of ivy or something that droops down. Plus on my tree this year is absolutely laden with the guavas, and I really loved the little texture with those wee berries on it, so I thought that they would be perfect. So the first step is to get your rosemary and to just stick that, first of all, wet your foam wreath just by placing it into water and just letting it sink down to the bottom, and don't push it in at all, just let it sink to the bottom and it will take up all the moisture. From there, it's just a matter of going around, and it's easier to do everything on your bench surface before you place it up into the top. So just pushing a few of those down into there like so, and you can have this as long or as short around the base as you like. And as did I tell you? I don't know that I did, but around the base here, I painted that black so that when it goes onto the top of my container, I'm not going to see that black, because I'm not going to worry too much about covering everything. So with the bay, it's just a matter of pressing that down and into the foam, and I'm stepping it up now to cover as much of the foam as I can without being too fussy. Just cover it as much as you can, because we don't want to see, the foam is actually just a medium in which to hold the flowers. Then the next thing I want to do is to just put in little sprigs of the guava, and I like the shape of that leaf too. It's slightly rounded as opposed to the slightly pointed of the bay, and the smell is delicious. So these are just randomly, well, it's not randomly being placed, but it's just being placed into that next level. So level 1 is the rosemary, level 2 is the bay, and level 3 is the guava with the wee berries. You might even have holly berries, whatever you've got at your place will do. And I just need another couple of little bits that I want to put just a little bit into there. Right, from there, strike all of this. The next thing is to get out my Gentian. Oh, I love this flower. It's just so beautiful. Now, I don't want this to be too tall, because it's going to actually be placed on my table surface, and it'll be in the middle of the table. So I don't want people all night to be going like, oh, I can't see you. Or it could be placed onto if you wanted to, you could place it onto a sideboard or at your front door. So now what I'm doing is I'm just randomly going into the foam and just placing these so that they're just going to form like this little hedge, some ups and some downs as we go around. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you is when you're buying any kind of flower, Usually the top is the first to open, but in the case of the Gentian, it opens from the bottom. If you want to check its freshness, just look at that leaf there, which is starting to yellow. That's an indication that it's not fresh. And the other thing is to look at these little florets down the bottom here. They're not as alive and as vibrant as the ones at the top here. So that usually gives you an indicator as to how things are. Now the other thing is with these Gentians, what you can do is, as I've done, when you're cutting, make sure that your cut goes right down to where the next two florets are starting, and you've got enough stem so that cleanly just goes down in amongst your flowers. If you can only find a few stems and you don't want to be wasting these, you can actually just cut further down. I don't put that into there, but see how I've got that one's open and that one's starting, and when I feel it, it feels quite dry, so I wouldn't use that. I just try and use, where possible, the very freshest blooms, because the great thing about this design is it will last for quite some time, and if you want to do it in advance, you certainly can do it in advance. And I like the thought that these are ups and downs too as we go around the design, which just gives more visual interest. Another bit down into there. That little bit fell off, so I'll just take that off. And there's another couple into here. So it's just a matter of like just going down and just cutting as you work your way down the stem with your eyes. And by slant cutting too, it just means that you're not seeing this visual clunk across. And if you go down far enough, you can actually hide that cut so that you can't see it. So just put another one into there. And I feel like one more into there, and with this bit here, I'll just put that into there. So it sort of just is filling it out by bringing those flowers down. Right, the next thing to happen, and that's all the flowers I want to use into this. So from now, it's just a matter of lifting that up onto your placement surface, and hopefully when you're selecting your wreath to go in the inside of it, make sure that it's, if you can, slightly smaller than, so that it goes into the cavity of your dish. Now the next thing I want to do is to put my little bird's nest into the middle, and I'm just going to get some eggs and I'm going to put those, look at those dear little things, aren't they just cute? And then that can go down into the middle, and of course you can't see, so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to lift it down so that you can see. Look at that in there, isn't that just so cute, the little eggs. If you don't have something like this, what you could do is just use a cake plate and just elevate it. So hope you've enjoyed that. Happy Easter, and I'll see you again another day.